Om Namah Shivaya, friends. Today we are talking about the retrogression of Jupiter starting from 8th of October. So Jupiter is going retrograde for 119 days and it will be retrograde in the sign of Taurus only, not changing any sign. And it will become direct on 4th of February 2025. So here there will be a phase when Saturn and Jupiter both will be retrograde till 14th of November. Then Saturn slowly goes direct. So roughly you can take October, November is a great month of contemplation, looking back, thinking about new things, out of the box ideas, putting more efforts into things. As you know that out of the many bulls, the strength of a planet, Cheshta Bal, is a very important factor for retrograde planets. That is why if you see in a natal horoscope people having two retrogrades, especially Jupiter and Saturn, they remain retrograde for a long phase of time every year. So these people usually do not take a foot backward at any time in their life, and they go out to put all the efforts that they require usually. Obviously exceptions are there due to the other characteristics of the planet. How is the deeptadi of the planets, the sthan bala of the planet, a lot of things are there. But usually I've seen two retrograde planet in a natal horoscope, the person puts lot of efforts in the whatever they want to do. Now Jupiter retrograde, as I have made already retrograde Jupiter video before, you'll see that retrograde planets, they behave in a different way, and obviously we all know by now that it brings some pending karma which has been left out. By now you have understand that even if you have started astrology search from this year, because Saturn has been doing that, I have felt it totally. The day Saturn went retrograde and the months that followed, July, August, and now we are ending towards September, there had been lot of pending things that I have done. I have went back again and again, and I was forced to do that. Not that I took it up, not like that exactly. So Jupiter retrograde also will bring such scenarios in our life. But yes, dictum that is there in many texts, that classical texts, that cruel planet becomes more malefic when it is retrograde, and Shubh Graha like Jupiter becomes more benefic. Now both the cases, I mean, see, I am nobody, I'm just a learner of astrology in everyday life, but I haven't seen, yes, Krur Graha, they require more, like Saturn, if it is retrograde in the transit or in natal also, it requires more effort on your part for those houses which it rules, and wherever it is transiting, it does that. And sometimes you feel you're fidgeting with the same thing again and again. Jupiter retrograde is a little different. In some avenues, it suddenly makes out of the box arrangement, and you go for it. You take a chance. Jupiter direct will not make that happen, which I feel is an advantage of Jupiter being retrograde, because always if you do the same job in the same way, you'll not get the different result, right? So that retrograde Jupiter makes you think, because it's a knowledge also, no? So it is a different kind of a knowledge. At that, if you do not also have Jupiter retrograde in your natal, if in just in the transit, it can, if you have the Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, whatever prominent governing at this point of time, you'll do something differently. You will definitely do. And it will bring some different result, because as it is said, if you keep on doing the same thing in the same way, you cannot expect a different result. So Jupiter retrograde is what I'm trying to put forward, is that it's not bad to that extent, but obviously little bit in a situation which is a little bit complex, in a way that you have to sort out those puzzles and then you'll get the result, something like that. Uljha hua planet, little bit anything it gives you also in a little bit complicated way. I don't know whether I'm able to put it forward to you, what I'm trying to say. Suppose you get a job, even the job profile will be a little uljha hua, little bit entangled in some way or the other. You will have some challenges. Once you're able to sort out those challenges, the entanglements, you are able to, deal with it very well and sort the entanglement, then you get a straight path forward. That is Jupiter retrograde. It is not as stagnant as Saturn retrograde, and you put lot of effort to get and break the world. It is not exactly like that. Jupiter retrograde's flavor is a little different. This is how the transit will be panning out. One important thing about this Jupiter retrograde is that immediately it gets retrograde, Venus enters into Scorpio. Just looking at this Jupiter from the 13th of October. Now, this is a very good Lakshmi Naran yoga. Venus, we all know, is the Karaka for wealth and goodness and relationship, all these things. When it moves into Scorpio, Rahu, Saturn and Jupiter will be aspecting this Venus. It is a very important transit actually. Some kind of fructification with the Venus will happen. Now this Jupiter and Venus aspecting both mutual aspect with each other will continue till the 7th of November. So this Diwali time, there is a very good chance, if you have that kind of dasha, antardasha going on, Jupiter, Venus or something, and in good houses, you can suddenly get a chunk of money, which you had, put it under the carpet. So it is a very good prosperous yoga actually. Yeah, it gives a little bit of Jupiter, Venus is both are benefic, but still I believe they create a little bit of tension when they sit in one place or aspect each other, because they give a different kind of a thought process. Venus is like the politically correct things and doable things that you need to make your future, the instant future right. Jupiter is the guru and the philosophical planet which wants to think you long term, very long term. So both the thinking process is different. You may come across people where your thinking process is not matching. That also may happen when Jupiter and Venus is transiting opposite each other. However varied it is, however different results it gives, but the transit is good and it can really give some prosperous growth in the spheres of our life, which I'll talk about the ascendants. So it is a good yoga so till 7th of November. After that, things again change. Jupiter will be retrograde, Saturn will slowly go direct, and Venus will move to Sagittarius. So let's see how this Jupiter retrograde affects us, with Venus just being opposite to Jupiter for quite a month, nearly 25-27 days. So let's jump into the ascendants. For the Aries ascendants, Jupiter is coming into it is in your 2nd house and going retrograde over there. Now this will bring in some expenses for you, and the expenses will be very sudden, and which was not thought of or planned of, maybe because of simple as it can be an investment also, but any investment is also an expenditure, right? You have to shell out that money from your savings, because as I said, Jupiter retrograde behaves very differently. Any retrograde planet will have some peculiarity about itself. So Jupiter is no exception in that. So this will happen. You'll have some things, and that will happen, and you will take that initiative to, that monetary factor, whatever. You can take a call, and that can be a little risky call also. Think a little bit more, because you know what, Venus, your 2nd lord, will be in the 8th house, especially in the initial first month from 8th of October, nearly from 13th October to 7th of November. So this is the time that Venus and Jupiter will be aspecting each other in the 2nd 8th axis. So both are money houses. So I strongly feel that some kind of investment things, or some kind of 8th house matters, sudden investments, insurance, property related matters can come into your mind, and you can go for an investment. These things will happen. Now, because it is the Artha Trikon, the characteristics of this Jupiter transit in your second house, whether direct or retrograde, is all about the Artha Trikon, building up of money. So, second, sixth, and 10th, this is the aspect. Second, sitting in the second, Jupiter is aspecting the sixth house. Now, some litigations or anything, if you have, it can take a little bit, because Ketu is also there in the sixth house. So, if it was running a little bit, it can take a different stance, a little bit of change, because it is, see, it's your Bhagya Lord also, and retrograde will behave in a different way. Or the if you have a loan structure, if you want to take a loan, you are going through the process, some additional informations or certain things can happen. You have to look into more towards it. 10th house aspect is good, obviously, but again, sudden job offers can also happen at this point of time. But the thing is that at this point of time, whatever it is, it will have some entanglements, or looking back and thinking, and then taking the decision. It will, Jupiter, because it's a benefic planet, it will give you good results, but in some kind of an entanglement, and you have to solve the puzzle and then cautiously proceed in that, because as the direct Jupiter was running, it's a different flavor, and now it's a different flavor altogether, because now it's gone retrograde. So maybe a sudden job offer, if you had been looking for, because the sixth house is strong, the 10th house Jupiter is aspecting, and it's a retrograde, and retrograde planet suddenly brings result. I've seen that again and again, but that you have to contemplate about it, and then you have to take a decision. But nonetheless, it's not a bad transit. Or but yeah, your Lagna Lord will go into debilitation in the 4th house, again looking into the 10th house. So both will be looking into your 10th house of Capricorn. I'll make a video on that, because Lagna Lord going debilitated in the 4th house, some emotional setbacks, or not feeling good about it, because Mars Cancer transit is not, I have seen it is not a very good, emotionally not a very stable transit. So I'll make a video on that, but both will be aspecting your 10th house, a retrograde Jupiter, and your Lagna Lord. So 10th house is becoming active, and you can get a job offer. Think about it and then take a decision. Taurus people, Taurus Lagna, when you have the Jupiter retrograde on the Lagna, Jupiter is a benefic, no doubt, but for your Lagna, it's the 11th Lord and the 8th Lord. 8th Lord on the Lagna always gives some challenges as far as health matters are concerned. It is there. Now, you have to take care of your health, no doubt about that. But gains also it will bring, as it is the 11th Lord. Desires also it will bring, because retrograde Jupiter behaves in a very unusual way. It's not the regular Jupiter. Exactly, Jupiter retrograde gives a very optimistic and not unbending ideas. You don't want to bend it for, you don't want to bend it for the sake of society. It's not the retrograde characteristics. And Rahu being in the 11th house, so, this arrangement is quite good. And Saturn once goes direct, it is even better. But this retrograde Jupiter can play in the sense that give you all the ideas or things related to the 11th house and 8th house, sudden ideas also. But be a little careful. Venus will be coming opposite Jupiter and will be in your 7th house from 13th of October to the 7th of November. This is a good transit of Lakshmi Naran Yoga. Jupiter aspecting Venus, a mutual aspect. So some monetary things from your partner and sudden gains from legacies, all these things can also happen. On and all, it's a good transit. Only thing is about the transit is that your health part needs to be taken care of, as Saturn is also retrograde aspecting your 12th house, and Jupiter being the 8th Lord is on the Lagna retrograde can give some medical expenses also. It can. Okay, Gemini ascendants, Jupiter is your It is your 7th lord and the 10th lord and going into the 12th house. This is and retrograde, so behavior wise it is very different also. This transit is a little expenditure related transit, be it on your health, be it on your office part, be it on your well-being, be it taking a loan. You can get into depths of it. Your official things will take a strange turn, as it is 10th lord in the 12th. Other than if you are going into some kind of foreign destinations, that's a different story altogether. That can be favored. Foreign destinations, it's a little bit different in its way. Rahu is also in the 10th house, so that can give a different flavor. But otherwise, if you are in the country and you may be losing a project, you may be put on a bench, you can have to wait, strange thing happening, some kind of politics can also happen, as Jupiter is aspecting the 6th house and your partner and you can have a little bit of sour relationship at this point of time. Sour is not the right word, difference in opinion, difference of things, even because see, the 12th house is it is your partner's daily routine also, a job also, because it is 6th to the 7th house. So even your partner can face some kind of politics in the official area, in the work front, with co-workers, with subordinates, whatever. So in all, it is a transit where you have to have a lookout, a cautious lookout, and you have to be prepared that if things go a little haywire, then you must not jump and put fuel on the fire, because you know your 6th lord Mars is also getting debilitated in the 2nd house. Your speech can also matter at this moment of time, though Venus is your 5th lord, will be in your 6th house from 13th of October to 7th of November. It can, at this point of time, it can be a little better with 6th house related things, with because it's all about the 7th and the 10th house. So a little cautious, slow approach is required. Your Bhagya Lord is also retrograde, so understanding the nuances of this Jupiter retrograde in your 12th house, you have to take steps in that way, because it's a very important, your Kendra planet of 7th and 10th. When it's retrograde, it is telling you something. You have to understand the points. It will be given to serve to you in an entangled way. You have to solve the puzzle and take out or sort out the entanglement, and then you'll be able to move forward when Jupiter will, from the 4th of February, it will go direct and then ultimately come on your Lagna in the month of May. So it's a mixed transit, expenses oriented transit. For foreign things, it's good. Otherwise, it's a little bit of, you can see a little bit of turmoil, a small setback, because see, Jupiter is a very benefic planet. It will not give you very upsetting results, but it should be kept in mind in that way. Okay, the Cancer ascendants, it's your 11th house and your Bhagya Lord, and also your 6th lord. Now 11th transit of Jupiter is actually good, but when it's go retrograde, it is again, any gains if you have also in this point of time, you have to work hard and solve the puzzle to find where the gain is. It may look like a gain, but there can be a catch, and then you come to know, okay, so I have to work some hours for that, then only that gain will materialize. Not that the transit is bad, because see, Venus will be in your 5th house also. So Venus is your 4th lord, and see, it will be opposite each other. So and also it is the 11th lord, so 11th lord seeing the 11th house, you can have certain gains also. Now these gains, how they are coming and how they are materializing, that is what you have to look into. Whether, because see, retrograde planet, whenever Jupiter, a planet like expansive planet like Jupiter goes retrograde, the person, I've seen, it gives a little bit sudden, it will give some results regarding that house where it is retrograde, and you can suddenly feel optimistic without knowing what is the catch involved. involved in that. So that is very important. You can start a new thing, you can think of starting something, because 11th house is not the house to sit back. It can give you many kind of ideas to, what to do. If you were trying for some marriage proposals, all these things, this can also progress, but some glitches can be there in the between. But I feel in retrograde Jupiter, I don't feel that, I mean, you can go and marry if it's already fixed and all, but otherwise, if you can postpone it, let the Saturn Jupiter become direct, then better you can go with the thing. I think that can pose, this retrogression can pose a little bit of postponement of the dates or something, but Jupiter in the 11th is good as far as marriage things are concerned, new ventures are concerned, new startups are concerned, and new groups are concerned, gains are concerned. But here, once the planet is retrograde, you will see it is a little different. It is not the usual gliding thing. It will give you with a jerk, sudden things will happen. You have to contemplate on that. You have to, have to think to the deep. That is what you should do, because the planet is retrograde. It's not behaving in the usual way. Otherwise, it's not a bad transit in any way. Okay, for Leo ascendants, the 10th house Jupiter goes retrograde. That is your 5th lord and 8th lord. So here some, again, 10th house Jupiter, as it was running, I mean, you could have, but now one thing is that because Saturn is retrograde and aspecting your Lagna, some hiccups already you have encountered in the last few months, and Sun, the position of Sun was also not very right. But here Jupiter retrograde can suddenly make you feel a little optimistic about the 10th house in a very different way, and you will be able to deliver the 10th house things in a very different manner also, out of the box thing. Jupiter retrograde is very different from the direct Jupiter. It gives optimism, it gives you the sense of feeling that I can do it, and yes, you can do it, but there will be certain errors also involved in it if you are in a very fast forward mode. As understand, the Bhagya Lord is going into the 12th house, and that is Nicha. So anything which is done in the course of your luck or suddenness, Rahu is in the 8th house, Mars will go into the 12th house, will not live, it will not spare you, So 10th house retrograde Jupiter, if any new project started, if you want to change the process of your work or anything you want to do, your money will increase. 2nd house, it will increase steadily, it will increase, not maybe with a jump, but it will increase. 6th house also, if you have law and litigation, you'll be able to justify with it, and Mars will be also put an exalted aspect in the 6th house, so that will also run. Now Venus will be coming into your 4th house and will be aspecting this Jupiter, mutual aspect, from 13th of October to 7th of November. That is the Diwali. It is the full Diwali phase, and it's a beautiful time of this time of the year. So you can gain some, because it's the 10th lord looking at the 10th house and Jupiter being there, you can feel some goodness coming to your life during that period of time. You can get some, you may be acclaimed, diplomatically acclaimed, and these things can happen with you. But nonetheless, the Jupiter retrograde will give you certain challenges, small or big. It's not like Saturn, it's not a malefic phase planet, but you will see that certain challenges will be involved, and maybe your optimism will be a little bit high, because Jupiter retrograde is like that. You want to jump into and take it in the course of action. Be slow. Understanding that the 9th lord has gone into the 12th house and Rahu is in the 8th house, it can be an illusion also. So read the documents if you have to, if you're doing a new thing or whatever. You have to take slow and steady approach when a planet is retrograde in a very special house like the 10th house. So that's your transit. For Virgo ascendants, the 9th house Jupiter is getting retrograde. It is your 4th lord and the 7th lord. Now here you can, if you were planning for a journey or taking up any courses, higher studies, it can see a bit of entanglements. It will not be shoved off, but it can see a different kind of a approach during these time, and or you may have to study more and reappear for enrollment to that course. That can also happen. So these things are very common, but Jupiter putting its grace on the Lagna when Ketu is there is very good actually, and it will give you a touch of philosophy. It will give you good knowledge how to progress, be slow. You will come across these things, and even your partner and you can engage into some activities, religious things, or learning higher study, visiting places, foreign journeys. These can well happen. Maybe it can happen that you suddenly feel a little optimistic also, in the sense that this Jupiter retrograde suddenly gives a burst of energy. A retrograde planet is having Cheshta bal. It gives a sudden burst of energy. Yeah, when it is in the Bhagya Dasha, it can slow it down a bit, that is there, but still you'll feel that you will be thinking about things and the decisions, because it is aspecting the third house, and Venus will come into your third house. Especially any kind of decision at this time, 13th of October to the 7th of November, when Venus will be in Scorpio aspected by this Jupiter, both will be aspecting each other, you can take a very vital decision regarding some areas of your life, and that decision can you can have a difference with the way you think and your partner thinks. Nonetheless, you'll come into a conclusion and that decision will be good, but don't take it in a hurry. Contemplate more on it, and journeys are inevitable in such a combination when the third house is having the 12th, the third house is having Venus over there, and it is your second lord. And if you are in some marketing field or any other these kind of things, that can also take a boost, or any kind of communication related things, online things, these can also be good during this. You can start up a new thing because the third house is so active. You can go for some kind of starting or restarting again. That can also happen. So this is your transit Jupiter retrograde in your 9th house. For Libra ascendants, Jupiter is getting retrograde in your 8th house of secret things, of legacies, of your investments and all these things. Here, if you were destined to do or get something in your favor, it can be a little bit stalled. It will not be over, but you can get it. Suppose if you are supposed to get a property return or insurance money or anything regarding that, it will be given to you in bits and it will come in installments, not together, or it may take some certain time, and a rectification process can be on. You can feel very optimistic about it, but hold on to your horses. Jupiter 8th gives an expansion to the area of the lower part of your body also. You can suddenly gain weight also. In optimism, it can happen because your Lagna Lord Venus is going into the second house where you have all the goodies to eat also, and that will be staying from 13th October to 7th of November. So here Jupiter and your Lagna Lord Venus will be aspecting each other. So this is a good money yoga actually. You can get sudden gains which is a little you were not expecting exactly at this time. That can also happen, will happen. This is a good monetary placement, Venus in the 2nd and Jupiter in the 8th, and it attracts money. 8th house is like it attracts money. So it gives you, and Jupiter gives a lot of benefic things in the 8th house. Though it gives a transformation to the self, you are able to realize a lot of things. You are able to contemplate on a lot of things, and especially in this retrograde phase, you will contemplate a lot about different things in your life. If you were into learning some studies and you were in a research mode, that can be enhanced, and you can with full force and full knowing that time is very precious, you can go into that. So if it is aspecting the 12th house, your 2nd house and your 4th house. So all these areas, it can give you some expenses suddenly regarding your, if you if you want to buy something, if you want to go somewhere and spend, the expenses creeps up. All these things can happen. So retrogression gives you sudden burst of energy in that area, because retrograde planets are not very normally behaving planet. A normal Jupiter is very, I mean, it's a smoothing, slow, and not in a rush, not like Saturn maybe, but it's not in a rush. Retrograde gives in itself a cheshta bal, and when you're sudden you feel an optimism or your ideas creep up, you want to go with it and do the thing. So see, now another thing is about that your Lagna Lord's position is good, but 10th Lord will be housing Mars. So Mars also will be aspecting your Lagna. What I'm trying to say with these arrangements that is happening in October, don't take rush decisions and don't be on the edge of your seat to go for any kind of changes. The situation from 13th October to 7th November is good. Let Saturn go direct. It's your yoga karak. In your 5th house, you'll get the clarity, and slowly you will be able to achieve. Regarding the 8th house, if you are running a Jupiter Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, whatever you are supposed to get gains, because 8th house is a money house. How much transformation it gives money also, no doubt about it. So if you were supposed to get these profits from the 8th house, you will, but don't put more actions into it. Wait for it, because retrograde Jupiter sometimes does hasty things and feels very overconfident about it. That is also a one characteristic. So this retrogression is a little slow process. You should take, things will happen a little with break. A sudden gain can also happen, but don't jump into it with all your energy. Just think that okay, it's happening, but let's it go direct. Then finally the decisions or the fructification, total fructification will happen at by the 4th of February. After Libra, it's Scorpio. Jupiter gets retrogrades in the 7th house. Now, Jupiter, retrogression of Jupiter in the 7th house delays some marriage or partnership process. That is very natural, or you'll have a different criteria. You'll think more about it, that what can be the, you'll think many ways about it, because Jupiter retrograde is a little different. It's not the normal Jupiter. Your thinking process will also go in that way. It's aspecting your Lagna. It's bound to happen. Now, one thing about this point, Scorpio, is that Venus will be coming on the Lagna. So it is your 12th Lord. You can be in a spending spree. Here, you can feel that if I spend, I'll feel better. Because Venus on the Lagna aspected by Jupiter, mutually they'll be aspecting each other from 13th October to the 7th of November. But understand, because Mars is going into debilitation from 20th of October in your 9th house, though the 9th house is good, the placement of Mars and debilitation is not very good. That is a Lagna Lord. You can feel some pinch in the sense that you are not able to do exactly the way you want to do things, and this will continue for a long time for Aries and Scorpio, as Mars is will be in debilitation and Gemini for a very long time. So it is not a very optimistic time to show optimism. If you feel depressed, then also you have to make yourself understand this is just a transit, and some kind of planets always gear up to show some kind of results, and they do what they want to do. We are just astrologers, we just gauge 5% of what the planets are going to do. So the point with Scorpio at this, because this is an intense sign, and Venus, when it comes on, is the 7th Lord on the Lagna, with being the 12th Lord and aspected by Jupiter. It is a good time if you have a partner, to be with the partner, to discuss with the partner, to have a nice time with the partner is good. But don't go too much overboard, cautious about foreign things, expenditure and all this, as your Lagna Lord is going into debilitation. And don't take sudden decision, because in this Mars debilitation, it will be aspecting Capricorn. Jupiter is also aspecting Capricorn. There's a decision making house. So take a slow approach and don't jump into decisions, don't jump into conclusions, and don't be hot-headed, and don't blow roughshod with other people. So it'll be a bad tarnishing image for you. So but Jupiter will give some kind of, looking back, contemplation, thinking more. Certain scenarios will happen because it is directly aspecting the Lagna, so you will be going through this, and once the Jupiter is direct, those things will be solved automatically. You'll be able to solve it by yourself, this entanglement of retrograde Jupiter. Sagittarius, it is your sixth house. Lagna Lord in the sixth house is a little bit strugglesome phase. As we all know, the Sagittarius people are going through. I'm meeting Sagittarius people. They are telling me, confirming me the same. Here it goes retrograde. Now, retrogression, your sixth Lord, Venus, will be opposite to Jupiter in the 12th house. And it is your gain Lord also. Some excess expenditure, if you have to do at this point of time, because Venus will be in your 12th house from 13th of October to 7th of November. If you are spending something, and if your gains are, that your gains are going into some expenditure, little bit think a bit, because this arrangement of Jupiter in the 6th and Venus in the 12th is not very good, because it gives more expenses rather than more money. So think about it a little bit, and think about your health, because retrograde Jupiter can show some areas of your health which needs a check. So, and Mars, your yoga karak 5th Lord and your 12th Lord, is going into the 8th house. This is not a very good condition at all. So all these things happening in midst of Jupiter going retrograde, your Lagna Lord is it's a 6th house. It is aspecting the 10th house. And it can suddenly give you a job also in the job front, and with some kind of entanglements in that, some kind of puzzled scenario in that. You have to solve it, and then you can move ahead, because a benefic planet like Jupiter, your Lagna Lord, will not harm you in that way, but whatever you are doing, it'll be given to you in a little bit strange way. The planet is retrograde, and maybe you wanted a job for a long time, that was not happening, it suddenly happened. 6th house is getting a new environment. So but there are certain things which are very different. You have to go back and think that what you have to do during such a situation. So put in your brain, put in your thinking process, stay good with your health, because Mars is going into the 8th house, and expenses should not creep up very high. So in this way you can process this Jupiter retrograde, which is 119 days, so roughly like 3 months, a little more here and there. So not a very good transit, obviously, but then we have to do with it. What was the other way out? Then Capricorn, Jupiter is retrograde in your 5th house. Here some things about your children, something about your studies, something that you have to look back again, and you have to think about it again, and in a different way you think about it, because this Jupiter retrograde will make you think. You can get gains because Venus, your very much yoga karak, is coming into the 11th house. Jupiter aspecting Venus, Venus aspecting Jupiter from 13th October to 7th of October, good transit for you, no doubt about it. If you wanted to start something, which adds to your name, fame, some proposals, anything you want to give it at this point of time, you can do. You can feel enthusiastic about it. You can yourself start a course. You want to send your child for higher studies or anything like that, you can well go ahead with it. Mars will be coming into your 7th house. Be a little careful about your health, but it will aspect your Lagna. It will make you into a discipline. I feel this exalted aspect on the Lagna will be bettering your health with bringing some regimes into your life. But obviously some kind of gains should happen at this point of time, as Venus is coming into the 11th house in Scorpio, aspected by this Jupiter. So this way it is a good transit. But if you have some difference, because Venus is the 5th Lord going into the 11th house, if you have some difference with your child in the thinking process, that can be sorted by only talking, because Jupiter and Venus are though both benefics, they they behave in very different way, because both are different kind of gurus. As we know, Venus is short-term gains and diplomatically handling it. Jupiter is very long-term planet, and the thinking process is very, very wide. So that is why, and Venus is a very stylish, classy, that Jupiter is it's a simple guru. So the thinking process is varied. So you can have a difference of opinion with your own progeny also. Nonetheless, it's a good transit, and retrogression obviously adds some kind of a different flavor to it. Suppose if you want to enroll for a course you were waiting for, and or you have to study harder, you have to again go back and study, then you'll get into enrollment after 2-3 months. Or some kind of loan you were waiting to get, again it'll take some time. So some kind of a little bit break here and there can happen, but well, go with the process, because it will not be shelved. That's what I'm trying to say, because Jupiter will give you some kind of a thinking which is different than the normal Jupiter that has been transiting till now, but it will make the things happen. Maybe your thinking process will change and you'll put into action a little, inculcate those differences in your thoughts, in your actions also. It's a good transit. Then Aquarius, it is the 4th house that Jupiter is going retrograde. Something related to your home, family environment, your life at home will go for a change. You have to look back and see and do something about it, so that you make a holistic home, a better home to stay. This is Venus will be coming to your 10th house, and this is a good yoga actually, in the sense it's a Lakshmi Naran yoga, and Venus aspecting Taurus, Jupiter aspecting Venus. It's a good from 13th October, as in between this phase of Jupiter retrograde, 13th October to 7th of November. So take the most of this phase. If you want to sell any of your things, the property related, house related matter, car related matter, do that. At this point of time, suddenly if you want to buy something, you should understand whether that is needed or not, because sometimes Jupiter retrograde gives that kind of a, suddenness. Because it's retrograde, it suddenly feel optimistic and wants to do that, and understand that Saturn is on the Lagna, whether it will go direct by 14th of November. You'll get the momentum slowly back, as now it is a little bit more stagnant actually. But this Jupiter retrograde in the 4th house is something regarding your home environment and your studies. Maybe you want to change the little bit of course, the way you had been studying. You come to realization of certain things. Your heart can feel a little, fidgeting with certain things, or little you want to gear up to go something, because 10th Venus also, you want to do something differently. You can do it, because it's a clash of ideas also. Jupiter is the normal, it's a guru, and Venus aspecting Jupiter can give you certain ideas which are not very far reaching, but immediately if you want to do this, you can put into it. That's nothing bad, but understand this Jupiter works in a little different way, and you want to put a difference to the area where it is aspecting, like your 12th house, some expenses you want to do it on your own, and your 8th house also, sudden things regarding your home environment, which is the 4th house. So it's not in no way a bad transit, but it's a little different in its approach. That's the thing. And then comes Pisces. Pisces, your Lagna Lord Jupiter is getting retrograde in the 3rd house. 3rd house Jupiter retrograde, a new scenario will be created, and you have to put in more effort for that. You have to rebuild the process of whatever, if you are into a startup of something, or your environment can go for a change, or you will be thinking of some changes in your environment. If you are in a marketing, a sales kind of activity, or where you need travel and all, you can, these things can again happen. You have to, maybe you were in the process of that. Again, you have to contemplate a little bit more on these matters. It's a little bit of a wear and tear kind of a situation, because see, the problem with this 3rd Jupiter is that 3rd house is not the place of Jupiter. Other than flexibility and good communication skills, it is not a very, it's called the Maran Karak Sthan for Jupiter. So here you have to, adaptability comes more. You have to change your ways of adaptability again. You have to change the way you put in your efforts again. So again, it's a repetition. Though it is seeing your 11th house, and Mars, your Yogakarak planet, will be coming into the Cancer, your 5th house. So Jupiter, Mars both will be aspecting your 11th house. Some kind of startups can happen in the process. Some kind of gains you can start building in. But Jupiter 3rd and Mars in the 5th debilitated gives you some kind of, a little bit... why a little bit? It gives you things to ponder on, and you can feel emotionally weighed down by things. But here Jupiter will be, again Venus, your 8th lord, will be in Scorpio from 13th October to 7th of November. Sudden distance journeys can well happen at this time. Sudden expenditures can happen. These things can happen, and your parents' health should be looked into, because Jupiter is aspecting that area, and Venus, the 8th and 3rd lord, is there. So journeys can be there, startups can be there, new way of putting into actions things, a little bit of mental mentally not feeling too good, that can be there. But gains will happen as Jupiter and Mars both will be aspecting your 11th house of Capricorn. So here you have to think and contemplate and go back and redo certain things, because it is your Lagna lord also. So you are involved in the process. Your efforts, how you put in the efforts, in what way, all these things will matter. So okay, so this is the transit for Jupiter for all of you. Hope you liked the video. Now next video, let's see what we can talk about. The eclipses are also there in this season, so we'll talk of them hopefully in the next part. So have a good day, friends. Take care, and till the next video, bye.